I'm a 36-year-old man, married 12 years, and I just discovered that my wife's been cheating on me. It all started a few weeks ago when I got back from a 3-week work trip. I travel for my job occasionally, but this trip was longer than usual. I missed my wife and kids like crazy and couldn't wait to get home. I walked through the door on a Friday evening expecting hugs and excitement, but instead, I was greeted by my wife sitting me down for a talk. She told me she wasn't happy anymore, that she felt disconnected from me, that I wasn't as present with the kids as she needed me to be, and that she wasn't sure if she loved me anymore. She mentioned wanting a divorce. I was flabbergasted. It came out of nowhere. I tried to stay calm and told her we could work on it, but these feelings didn't mean our marriage was over. We spent the weekend talking, crying, and going back and forth. By Sunday morning, she told me she was willing to try. It was our anniversary of meeting for the first time, and I thought that maybe this was a turning point for us. I wanted to believe we had a shot to fix things. A few days later, our youngest had come down with flu, and our sitter got canceled at the last minute. So I stayed home to watch the kids while she went to her nail appointment. I was sitting in the living room when her iPad started dinging. It was Facebook Messenger. The preview on the screen caught my eye, and my stomach sank. The messages were from a guy I recognized as an old friend of hers from high school. I only saw the previews, but it was enough. She told him she was out without the kids, and he responded, asking how long she'd be out and saying maybe they could sneak away to their usual. She sent him an affirmative response. My heart was pounding. I took screenshots with my phone, and when I couldn't take it anymore, I called her. She didn't pick up, so I texted her the screenshots and told her to come home immediately. When she got home, she didn't deny it. She claimed nothing happened, that she'd only seen him after her nail salon appointment, and that it was just talk. She asked me what I wanted to do, as if the weight of her betrayal was mine to manage. We argued, and she insisted it was nothing, but I don't believe her. I kept asking where the usual was and what they did at the usual, but she kept saying I was imagining things. My world's been turned upside down. I'm cycling between anger, sadness, and complete confusion. She keeps saying she wants to work on things and doesn't need the divorce anymore, but I don't want to work things out if she's already got my replacement in place. I keep replaying the messages in my mind, imagining what else she could be hiding. I love her. I love our family more than anything, but I don't think I can move past this. I feel humiliated, betrayed, and broken. I'm staying strong for my kids right now, but I'm not sure how long I can keep this charade up. I haven't told anybody in real life yet, and this is the first time I'm telling anybody at all. My head is such a mess. Update. After my initial post, I spent a lot of time thinking about how to move forward. I wanted to believe my wife when she said nothing physical happened, but her actions didn't match her words. A few nights ago, I told her we needed to talk. I explained that if we're going to rebuild anything, I needed full transparency. I told her I needed access to her phone, her social media accounts, and her phone records. Not permanently, but at least until we could rebuild trust. I also made it clear that this wasn't about controlling her. It was about proving that she had nothing to hide and giving me some peace of mind. She wasn't having it. She said I was treating her like a child and that she deserved privacy. She accused me of being paranoid and insecure, and I was letting my imagination ruin what little progress we'd made. I tried to explain that trust isn't rebuilt by shutting down questions or refusing to be transparent, but she wouldn't hear it. That was the breaking point for me. I told her that if she wasn't willing to prove her innocence and take steps to rebuild trust, then we needed to start the divorce process. She got defensive, saying that I was overreacting and that I was the one ruining our family, not her. The next morning, I called a lawyer. I haven't filed yet, but it's underway. The lawyer was understanding and walked me through the whole process. The papers will be ready within a week of putting down the retainer, which I'll be ready with by this weekend. Since that conversation, things at home have been tense but oddly calm. She's acting like everything's normal, playing with the kids, cooking dinner, talking about upcoming holidays, but I'm keeping mostly to myself. I'm sticking to the 180 as much as possible, keeping conversations brief and focused on logistics or the kids. She's tried to throw me breadcrumbs a couple times. For example, she sent me screenshots of text logs from her phone account, showing no messages to the guy during a specific time frame. but I noticed the logs didn't include iMessages, which can't be tracked the same way. I brought it up and she got frustrated, saying, "Isn't this enough for you?" I told her it wasn't. Then I asked her directly why this number was still unblocked if she claimed to cut off all contact. That's when she sheepishly admitted she had unblocked him because she heard he went to a club with a younger intern at his office. She said she wanted to find out if that was true. I asked why that mattered to her if he was hooking up with his intern. She refused to tell me. I asked why she lied about having blocked him in the first place. She started crying and saying she didn't know what to do anymore. At this point, I don't think I can do this. I can't keep living under the same roof as her much longer. She keeps deflecting, blaming me, or shutting down whenever I ask questions. But I know moving out will jeopardize me in the divorce, especially in the custody battle. I haven't told her about the lawyer yet. I know shit'll hit the fan, and I'm bracing myself for it. But I still dread it. Thank you for your advice and support. This is the hardest thing I've ever been through, and I'm really anxious about my future. Story 2. Am I an a-hole for not including my recently divorced ex-wife on a family trip? 10 months ago, my wife of 15 years explained to me she had interest in a coworker, so I left it up to her to decide whether to open up our marriage. I figured it was just an exploratory phase, something she would have a change of heart about. After 5 months of being miserable with her going off with him nearly every weekend, I expressed to her that I wanted to look for someone else. She replied that it would only push her to the other man. Nonetheless, I started seeing someone, and after the first day of me being with someone else, my wife wanted a divorce. We've officially been divorced for a week. We have 3 kids together. We're also living together for the time being while she and her boyfriend are closing on a house together. Recently, our family friend's wife contacted me and invited me and the kids to join her on a family trip. I planned on taking my girlfriend along with us. I explained to the family that if my family were to go on a trip, my kid's mother would not be going. They acknowledged and figured that was going to happen. Realistically, there's no room for 2 extra people. Personally, I have no interest in going on a trip with her and the man she left me for. She said she was hurt that my girlfriend was going in her place and that she was ousted so soon. She suggested that it could just be me, her, and the kids as per usual before our divorce. While our papers were signed a week ago, I'm ready to settle into my new normal. Am I the asshole for not including her? Edit. My oldest is 14 and has known about basically everything from the beginning. My younger 2 are 9 and 10. Both had suspicion about their mother's relationship with the boyfriend before finding out all the gory details. Mine was a tidy secret until that point. Once the younger 2 learned the truth, they made the decision as to when they met my girlfriend. The conflict for me falls to the other family having been our friends for 14 years. Also the desire for things to remain healthy as possible between my ex and myself for the sake of the kids. My ex hopes to still do things like this together as a family, and in the future maybe we can, but right now I don't think I could stomach it. I explained this to my ex and she seems to be heartbroken at the notion. She's crying and I just feel irritated. Kinda makes me feel like an asshole. The situation's centered around myself and my ex. The kids are actually doing pretty well. Edit 2. I spent 5 months doing everything I could think of to save us. She spent 5 months leaving me at home with the kids. Lie after lie and 0 shits given about my feelings. The exact moment I said F it was when she didn't want me to attend her office Christmas party as I have every year for over a decade. Her reasoning was she didn't want her coworkers to think she was a whore. Sounds to me like she was pushing a narrative that I was no longer in the picture. That was the moment I realized where I stood and that being faithful to her was a waste. My girlfriend walked into my life 3 days later. The hypocrisy and insanity that followed were truly unbelievable. After her initial immediate demands for divorce, she decided that we should start working on our marriage. Step 1 was ditch my girlfriend. Mind you, I had known her for a week and had no real ties to her. Nothing to say about how she would end her 5-month relationship with a man she works 40 hours a week with and that is centric to her friend group. I may or may not be an asshole for excluding her from this trip, but I'm not asking about the demise of the marriage. not the a-hole. Your ex-wife's trying to have her cake and eat it too. She made decisions that led to the end of your marriage, and now she's upset that you're moving on and establishing boundaries. It sounds like you spent months trying to salvage the relationship while she openly pursued someone else. She doesn't get to dictate how you live your life or guilt you into pretending everything's fine for her benefit. The trip is about you and the kids moving forward with your new normal. Including her, especially alongside the man she left you for, would likely create unnecessary tension and awkwardness, not to mention ruin your ability to enjoy the trip. You're under no obligation to play happy family just because it makes her feel better about her choices. It's also worth noting that she's living with you while she and her boyfriend close on a house together. That's already more than generous on your part. She made her priorities clear when she pursued this relationship, and now she needs to face the reality that she's no longer your partner or part of trips like this. Stick to your boundaries. You're focused on what's best for you and your kids, and that's exactly what you should be doing. If she wants a family trip in the future, maybe she can plan one with her boyfriend.